As it happens, more is known about him than about most professional writers of the time, but this knowledge is largely the consequence of the fact that England in the late 16th and early 17th century was already a record keeping society, and that many of the records survived, to be subsequently combed over by eager scholars. Even with this relative abundance of information, there are huge gaps in the knowledge that make any biographical study of Shakespeare an exercise in speculation. So, this is Will in the World by Stephen Greenblatt, and it's awesome. It's obviously a biography about William Shakespeare, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a biography. If anything, it's more like a hypothography. No, see, you get it? A hypothesis mixed in with a biography. And okay, how about guessography? Yeah, I guess it does sound silly, but it's not really a biography in the normal sense of the word because they do give you the facts about Shakespeare's life, but there's so little in Shakespeare's life that's already mentioned in that little blurb I read that nobody knows exactly that much about Shakespeare, the man who wrote the plays. But this doesn't mean that these guesses that are in this book are just without any like educational thought to it. See, the book rides on two things in context to William Shakespeare's life. The first being the most obvious, his texts. So all of his plays and poems, and they go into that obviously, and what Shakespeare could have meant and what his life was like through the context of what he wrote. But the other thing is the time frame, the 16th and 17th century, and all the people around that time frame that was involved in Shakespeare's life. So, all in all, it's a very fascinating book that tells the history of William Shakespeare, or one of the best guesses we have about Shakespeare through the history we now know. Phew. All right. So, good book. You should try and give it a read. So yeah, see ya.